In 2015, I sustained a spinal cord injury at the Rebel Rampage, and I was paralyzed from the waist down. I was diagnosed with a T12 burst fractured incomplete, which means I had damage to the spinal cord, but I still had signals going down below injury level. So I was pretty confined in a wheelchair for the first 6 months. You know, when you deal with a spinal cord injury, things do not come back at all, or if they do, they come back very slowly. So the first 6 months I was in a wheelchair. Right around the 7th month mark, I started to take steps in a walker. And right around the year mark, I started walking with 2 crutches, and then a year and a half, started walking with like a cane, and started to pedal the bike slowly. You know, I was able to pedal a stationary bike at the gym, but I didn't have enough core strength to actually like balance the bike. So I would pedal as much as possible on a stationary bike until I felt comfortable actually going out and pedaling a bike on the streets. I literally had to relearn everything in life, and even riding a bike, you know, it didn't come easy. I felt like I was a child trying to balance on a bike and try to ride a straight line. So took a lot of practice and learning curves to how to adapt to my new body to learn how to ride a bike again. One of the cool things that's what Suntour is doing is that they're bringing product to everyone, not just for your pros, but they are bringing product to the youth program, to your World Cup athletes. And it was pretty funny. I showed up to the pump track and I saw a kid on the same fork I was rocking, and you don't see that too often, right, with other companies. So it's really cool that Suntour's coming in at a price point that everyone can relate to. For me, I just would like to keep riding, keep pushing what I'm doing. You know, I like the e-bikes, whatever your opinion on them, right, good or bad. There's a lot of good stories with them. There's a lot of other amazing stories out there that this technology is helping them, and you know, maybe in the future you'll see a little web series of me going and doing these rides with these people. And there's a lot of amazing stories that I would love to tell with the technology of e-bikes. First time I got onto dirt, I was terrified. I was a little nervous, right? Like it was the best feeling, but it was at the same time I was very scared, because I was like, man, like started to have little flashbacks of like my injury, and like started to like think like, oh man, I don't want to crash again. I don't want to be in a bad situation. But at the same time, I'm like, this is so awesome and amazing that I'm able to even do this. And that helped a lot in my recovery as well. It's the freedom just to be on the bike and, you know, going out on the trails and doing that on the daily, right? Like it's fun. Like riding bikes is super fun. Like it's obviously, it brought the lowest points in my life, but at the same time, it brought the best moments in my life. For me individually, I just wanted to always progress my riding, regardless if it's like trying to be the fastest in the pump track or learning new tricks. Like as an athlete and coming up from the early stages of slopestyle, like I've seen the sport change a lot, and I always wanted to continue to progress as much as possible, and it was getting tough. Yeah, the mindset now is it's not stressful. It's kind of crazy. I actually enjoy riding the bike now more than ever, just because I have the freedom to do so, and I'm not too stressed about learning those new tricks and trying to do all these events. It's just awesome to be out there and riding. And I'm out there literally just having a good time, and kind of going back to the roots of why I started riding, right? Like we all started riding because it was fun. It was something we did with our friends, and it's kind of going full circle, right? Like now I go ride for those purposes now. Take so many things in life for granted, and riding a bike is one of those things that I took for granted, you know, until I lost literally everything in my life, from not having the use of my legs, not being able to ride a bike, like not even being able to feed myself at one point. Like when you live in those moments, you start appreciating the little things in life. For me, you know, after my injury, there's not a day that I complain when I'm on a bike, because it's a blessing, and there's a lot of people out there that wish they would be able to to go do those things, right? When I go on climbs and I go on rides, when my legs are sore and I feel that soreness, I get stoked. I get happy, and I keep pushing, and I think about those individuals that would love to have that feeling in their legs of soreness, right? So to feel that soreness in your legs, for me, it motivates me, because I'm every time I take that extra pedal stroke, I'm doing it for the people that can't do that, right? I used to hate climbing. Like, I used to hate pedaling. I used to hate going on these adventure rides. Now I'm like, I want to go pedal to the tallest mountain, and I want to feel my legs so sore that the next day I can hardly move them. Like that makes me happy. My favorite type of trails to ride these days, I would say anything with a little bit of flow, and climb. I love climbing. You know, I have no excuse to not go climb, especially with, you know, with the new technology around, with the pedal assist bikes. Like, it's amazing to have that tool to be able to do these adventure rides. And so I always try to incorporate a little bit of climbing in my ride with some flow. You know, I was so like narrow focused before my injury of like big mountain riding, dirt jumping, and slopestyle, that I missed a lot of opportunities to go explore these trails that I should go seeing. One of the reasons why I enjoy riding bikes so much these days is that when I'm on the bike, no one looks at me different. You know, when they see me walking in to the grocery, or I'm at the bank or something, like, people like stare at me like, what happened to this kid, you know? And I don't get that reaction when I'm on the bike, and I enjoy that so much. And it's kind of funny, because my dad would always joke around like, oh, my son, he was able to pedal a bike before he was able to walk. Well, in this situation, it's actually true, which is kind of crazy, because you know, I feel way more comfortable on a bike than I do with walking. I went to the Corral Trail 3 years ago with a couple buddies, and I remember like riding down that trail. I remember riding down that trail, and I was so bummed because I had to ride around all the jumps, and I would just see my friends just flow it, doing whips and doing kickouts. I'm like, that looks so much fun. I'm so jealous that I'm not able to do that. So I would have to go around all the jumps, and I'm like, one day I'm gonna hit that. One day I'm gonna hit those jumps. And fast forward 3 years later, here we are, and I was able to get through that whole line. It's not an easy line either. It's a pretty long line, I believe, from top to bottom. It's about 2 minutes, and when you get down to that last jump, you're pretty fatigued and exhausted. So to be able to like maintain your speed and have the energy to actually get over that last tabletop was pretty amazing.
Hell yeah! That was sick. This thing took a digger.